İyi akşamlar. Artık biraz önce söylediğim gibi zaten kongre başladı ve hızla yürüyecek. Tabii hibrit bir kongre. Saat tam 5'te canlı yayında toplantının ilk oturumuna bağlantı yapacağız. Birkaç dakikamız var. O tam süreyi doldurmak için sizi biraz oyalamak istiyoruz laf aramızda. Bunları çevirmiyoruz tabii.
Tabii burada teknik masa başkanları bir an evvel bağlayabilirse çok memnun oluruz. İki başkanımız var. Biri Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu Başkanı olan Cesar GARRIDO. Diğeri de bizim geçmiş Türkiye Hematoloji Derneği Başkanı olan, şu anda da Trakya Üniversitesi Tıp Fakültesi'nin dekanlığını yapan değerli arkadaşımız, meslektaşımız Muzaffer Demir Hoca. Her ikisini birazdan o oturumu yönetmek üzere online olarak ekranlarımızda göreceğiz. Biz de ondan sonra artık başlarız bakalım.
Evet, şu anda görüntüye geldi. Bülent Hoca'nın dediği gibi Venezuela'dan bir hasta babası, yanılmıyorsam değil mi? Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu'nu temsil ediyor kendisi başkan olarak. O açıdan hani Kıbrıs'ta yaptığımız bu Ulusal Hemofili Kongresi'ne katılması bence oldukça önemli. Muzaffer Hoca zaten konuyu çok iyi bilen bilim adamlarımızdan biri. Yüz yüze katılamadı ama kendisini bu şekilde katkısını almak bizim için de gerçekten bir onur.
Evet, buyurun Sayın Başkanlar. Önce izin verirseniz Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu Başkanı'yla ve Muzaffer Demir Hoca'yla. Buyurun efendim.
Teşekkür ediyorum Sayın Başkanlar. Umarım sesim geliyordur. Duyabiliyor musunuz? Teşekkür ediyorum. Bu benim için büyük bir onur. İki noktada büyük bir onur. Çok iyi bir birlikteliği, topluma örnek olma davranışı Uluslararası Hemofili Kongresi. İkinci mutluluğum ise yeni seçilmiş Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu Başkanı Cesar, Alejandro ve GARRIDO ile beraber bu oturumu yönetmem oldu. Önce kendisiyle biz biraz sohbet ettik. Oturumun detaylarını kendisiyle biraz konuştuk. Ben bu açılış oturumunda Mr. GARRIDO ile beraber bana bu fırsatı verdiği için her iki derneğimize, hemofili dostlarına çok teşekkür ediyorum. Bizim için büyük bir mutluluk ve onur. Onu tekrar vurgulamak istiyorum. Mr. GARRIDO, Kaan Hoca'nın söylediği gibi bir hemofili babası ama 1996 yanılmıyorsam kendisi de şimdi söyler. 1996'dan bu yana gerek Venezuela'da, gerek Güney Amerika'da ve gerekse dünyada hemofili toplumuna çok büyük katkılar yapmış biri. Ben nitekim de 2020 yılında Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu'nun başkanlığına seçilmiş durumda. Bizim için onunla birlikte bir toplantıyı yönetmek büyük bir onurdur. Zaten daha önceden yanılmıyorsam İstanbul'a da gelmişti. Kendisini konuk etmiştik. Bir daha sefer yüz yüze kongrelerimizde de görmek isteriz. Mr. GARRIDO'nun birkaç slaytı olacak. Sunum yapmak ister. Dünya Hemofili Federasyonu açısından. Ben sözü Mr. GARRIDO'ya vereyim. Please Mr. GARRIDO, you're welcome. On behalf of our both
Hoş geldiniz Sayın GARRIDO. İki derneğimiz adına büyük bir onur ve zevktir sizin burada bizimle hibrit konferansımızda olmanız. Umarız şahsen tanışırız bir sonraki kongremizde. Lütfen buyurun, sıra sizde. Çok teşekkürler Doktor Ahmet Muzaffer, bu nazik sözleriniz için. Burada olmak bir onur. Çok teşekkür ederim bu davet için. Aslında ...2008 yılında İstanbul'a gelmiştim. Harika bir kongreydi. Özlüyorum İstanbul'u. Çünkü hakikaten tekrar görmek isterim. Dileğiniz inşallah gerçekleşir. Yüz yüze bir araya geliriz. Benim de dileğim budur. Bir şey söylemek istiyorum. Sizi tebrik ediyorum. Çünkü çok güzel eylemler yaptınız. Bu kongre mesela. Birçok başka ülkeden insan davet ettiniz. Sayın Mackenzie'nin duyduğum Sözler de dahil buna. Evet, tamamen söylediklerine katılıyorum. Sis kalktığı zaman, ben bu başlığı sevdim. Bu oturuma moderasyon yapacağım. Çok güzel bir cümle bu. Sizinle paylaşmak istiyorum birkaç slaydımı. Görebiliyor musunuz? Henüz değil. Hala bir şey yok mu? Hala göremiyor musunuz? Hayır. Lütfen yardımcı olabilir miyiz Sayın GARRIDO'ya? Ekranın dibindekini tıklayabilirsiniz ama geliyor galiba. Ekran paylaşımı başlıyor galiba. Teknoloji her zaman, evet, evet, güzel, çok güzel. E-mailinizi görüyoruz şu an itibariyle. Bunu kapatmanız gerekiyor. Şimdi, evet, galiba oldu. Biraz büyütmeniz gerekiyor. Görüyor musunuz? Mission and Vision'ı. Evet, tamam. Net olmak ve bunların farkında olmak önemli. Misyon ve vizyon. Tabii özellikle misyon konusunda spesifik olmak istiyorum. İyimser olabiliriz ama şimdilerde bile çok yeni bir anket var. 2019 yılında dünyada yayınlanmış olan 210 bin kişi hemofilyak olarak belirlenmişti dünyada. Yani %26'nın biraz üstünde toplam beklenen sayı adetlerinin global olarak. Baktığınız zaman tedaviye erişim konusuna inanılmaz bir uçurum görüyoruz. %20, 36'sı dünya nüfusunun. Yani daha çok geliri olan insanlar. Bir sonraki slide lütfen. Neredeyse bütün faktör 8'i tüketiyorlar elimizde olan. Bu yani iyimser olmamız gerekir gelecek konusunda. Eğer öyle olacaksak aşmamız gereken büyük bir sorun bu an itibarıyla. İkisi beraber bu graf bize hala yapacak ne kadar çok şey var diye gösteriyor. Yani kanama bozukluğu olan hastaların belirlenmesi ve doğru düzgün tedavi aldıklarından emin olmamız lazım. Benim paylaşmak istediğim bilgi sizinle buydu. Umuyorum bu konuyu ele alacağız bu oturumda. Şimdi bu nasıl mümkün olacak? Ona bakmamız gerekecek. 2 kişiyi davet etmek istiyorum. Uzmanlıkları bu tarz kanama bozukluğu konusunda. Birinci konuğumuz Profesör Zülfikar. Herkesin tanıdığı birisi. Doktor Zülfikar, kendisi benim bir arkadaşımdır yıllardır. 2002'den beri yaklaşık tanışıyoruz. 1981 yılında tıp fakültesinden mezun oldu. Uzmanlaşmaya devam etti. Çocuk hastalıkları ve sağlığı bölümünde. 1986 yılında bir uzman oldu. Kardiyolojiye olan ilgisi akademik hayatını hematoloji alanına doğru çevirdi. Ee, Zorunlu hizmetini yaptı. 1980, evet, hemofili dünyası kendisini tanıyor. 1992 yılında meslektaşlarıyla beraber hemofilya hastaları ve aile yakınlarıyla Türk Hemophilia Derneği'ni kurdu. Hala başkanı ve çok mutluyum kendisiyle bu tarz bu sorunu paylaşmaktan memnunum. Yani hemofiliyle yaşamak, hemofiliden yaşamak. Buyurun Sayın Profesör Zülfikar, söz sizin. Çok teşekkürler bu güzel sözleriniz ve sunumunuz için.
Ben kendi Tamam. Evet, siz hakikaten bir sis perdesi yaşadık. Yani bu sis perdesi hala tam bitti mi, kalktı mı? Kalkmadı şüphesiz. Ama arada en azından aydınlandığını, aradan bazı şeyleri iyi görebildiğimizi vurgulamak istiyoruz. Bu perde devam ederken, bu sis perdesi devam ederken ne yaptık? Ben onu anlatmaya çalışacağım. Hakikaten temizlik, maske, sosyal mesafe hayatımızın bir parçası oldu. Ülkemizde mesela 28 Haziran rakamlarına bakarsanız 5 milyon vaka varken 50 bin civarında ölü varken sonra bu geldik Eylül 15'te bu vaka sayısı 6.700'e, vefat edenler de 60 bine çıktı. Bu John Hopkins'in verileri dünyanın her tarafına yayılıyor, her tarafından toplanıyor bu veriler. Şimdi burada ve gördüğünüz gibi ülkelerin oranları biz de ilk sıralardayız. Daha evvel 5. sıradayken şimdi 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. sıraya falan inmişiz. Yani dolayısıyla böyle bir ortamda devam etmek o kadar kolay değil. Arkadaşlar tam ilerlemesinde bir sıkıntı yaşıyoruz ama. Siz oradan ilerletirseniz memnun olurum o zaman. İstiyorum. Gelmiyor. Tamam, doğru. Ben de öyle yapıyorum. Ne yapalım? Tabii teknik sorun her zaman her yerde olabilir. Online'da olabilir, yüz yüze de olabilir. Tekrar geldi galiba. İkinciyi de geldi. Üçüncü bir geriye gidelim. Tamam. Evet. Şimdi bu olaylar başlarken hakikaten dünyada görüyorsunuz sadece Covid'den insanlar vefat etmiyor. Pek çok rahatsızlık var. 2020'nin Mart-Mayıs ayında Covid ön sıraya geçmiş, sıtmanın, malnütrisyonun ve diğer pek çok hastalığın önüne geçmiş ve hala bu önüne geçmeyi devam ediyor. Bu olaylar başlar başlamaz 17 Nisan Dünya Hemofili Günü'nü kutladık hakikaten. Hem de bağlanarak kutlandık. O ilk zamanlar bu çok cazip geliyordu, çok iyiydi. Orada da gene Sayın Cesar bulunmuştu aramızda. Tabii bir yandan da bilimsel aktivitelerin yanında poliklinik hizmetleri de devam etti. Çünkü hastalarımıza tedaviye ulaşmaları, bu sorunları için durmaksızın çalışmak da gerekiyordu. O sağlık faaliyetlerini sürdürmek gerekiyordu. Ona devam ettik. Ailelere psikolog desteği bir yandan yürüdü. Evet, neyse görünüyor oradan. Diyetisyen desteği devam etti. Fizyoterapi desteği devam etti. Yarınki konuşmalarımda hareketsizliğin ne kadar yüksek oranda olduğunu ama bu bitmedi. Bununla beraber eğitim ve bilgilendirme toplantıları devam etti. Şurada Nisan-Aralık ayı 2020 yılı içerisinde koca bir liste görüyorsunuz. Bunların hepsi yapılmış. Birçok da aktivite yapılmış. Bunlar da gerek genç hemofili gerekse Topkon'la beraber yaptığımız. Buradan değişik görüntüler. Hiç bunları göremezdi tabii. Ekran başında pek çok arkadaşımız bize dahil oldu. Bunları
on screen. On June 10th, we have a meeting. Half-life extended factors have been discussed. Then World Hemophilia Federation Congress happened 14th, 17th of June in Kuala Lumpur. It was announced, but with the pandemic, it also became online, and 19th June, we were online. Alan Vale was the Congress president and was the World Federation president. Our April 17th celebration was very attractive for him. He planned to transfer the same thing, and they had the Congress in June. A turning point meeting is what we had in Hemophilia A treatment in June with Novaid and Hemophilia in life. So you see many friends we were together with from Los Angeles. Guy Young was with us. In July, we had the ISTH Congress. It was planned to be in Milan, 11th, 15th July, but 12th, 14th July, they also had the Congress online. To compare the two Congresses, one 8,500, the other one more than 10,000 participants from 160 countries, 95 countries, close to 42 sessions by the World Federation and 5 sessions by ISTH federations. These were hemophilia specific sessions, 2 COVID-related sessions in both, more than 400 posters. But what I can say is gene therapy, non-factor treatments, factor replacement medications, inhibitors, many topics were common to both of these. Lab, gene treatment, and non-factor treatments have been discussed in both congresses, even though the sessions were different. There were posters from Turkey to these congresses, 17 to WFH, 19 to ISTH. Among those, 11 hemophilia related and 3 the titles and the researchers you're seeing here. And thank you to our dear colleagues for representing our country in those congresses. After that, how shall we do the 2020 Congress? What is the future of congresses, we were wondering. Is not with us Önder Kılıçoğlu. Hope he gets well soon. So we discussed the future of congresses with Professor Önder Kılıçoğlu. Important things have been addressed. Later on, conversations continued with the support of different companies, especially Hemophilia B was discussed. AAV treatment started in our country, gene therapy. We talked about that. What's waiting for us in the near future? We had an advisory board, again, updated guidelines, the place of Novo 7 in inhibitor hemophilia. So it's September 2020. In the last days of September 25th, 26th, we had an online camp. Can you believe it? I mean, there's actually an online camp. Under the tent, there was a camp. So we felt as if we were in a camp under the tent. You see the program. Ahmet Özsan, Özgür Bolat, Rasim Öztekin, who has since deceased, and Bob Brown, they joined us. Cesar and 2 presidential candidates, Eric Stolte and Cesar Garrido. As Mr. Garrido is the president-elect, as we just said. Many things happened on Friday. On Saturday, our professors conversed under the tent. Physical exercises, water drinking exercises. We had water exercises. In water exercises that you see here, you can see many professors here. They have shared their knowledge, and there was this conversation setting. Blood Federation had a meeting. They asked us to organize it. Ekrem, Ünal, and Başak Koç, and Prasad, our dear friend from USA, participated. It was very productive. Innovations in hemophilia treatment was the topic. EHC Congress, European Hemophilia Consortium, 2020 was online. 2021 is going to be online as well, 3, 4, 5, 6 October. I will talk about replacement treatments in hemophilia A. This took place in the evenings, so people could be at home and participate. In October, we had the von Willebrand meeting. We had obstetrician, we had Engin Oral, I'm there, so we could do that. And it's not over. Security, safety in hemophilia treatment. From the UK, we had our dear friend, Jerry Dolan was with us. Important thing, on October 16th, the annual meeting of the General Assembly happened in the World Hemophilia Federation. It would have been the last day of Kuala Lumpur, but when it was online, the General Assembly was postponed, was held in October, and you see the votes of the medical members. Bülent ZÜLFİKAR received 24, Cedric Herman at the highest, 56, and he was elected. Me and Miguel Escobar from America, we have equal votes, but of course, they drew a tie, and Escobar was in the administration, which was a misfortune, really. It was the throw of the dice that was unfortunate. Maybe the young colleagues who will come after us will be able to represent our country. On October 21st, rare factor deficiencies, almost 40,000 cases. Ahmet Faik participated from one online. From 7 to 8 in life, principles of happiness. With Nihal, we had frames from life, factor 8 standard treatment and hemophilia A. And in December, as you can see, as Professor Kaan tried to explain, we had our Congress. So briefly, I'm going over it. For the young, we had both you and I, a peer hemophilia symposium, 26th, 27th of December and 9th and 10th of January. That was perfect. Then the panels on the Congress, we had them again one by one every week. We took out the videos and discussed those videos. You saw the poster. Then there was the EHAD Congress, and there it was held online as well. We had posters. There was a SEVES Congress. Afterwards, we continued February, May. Many scientific meetings and activities took place. You see images from there. The content, for instance, on March 31st, factor 8 in hemophilia A and guidelines. Harran University, Istanbul University dentistry faculty collaborated in dentists' practices in hereditary bleeding disorders. On April 8th, Life with Hemophilia. In 9th and 10th of April, we had online symposium of Medeniyet University. Then, in spite of the mist, we had the smell of the Judas tree. Now, probably if we can smell things from computers in the future, hopefully it will smell of Judas tree. It's the most beautiful season when the Judas trees are in bloom. 17th of April 2021 is how we celebrated. We continued in May radiosynovectomy and Generation Y. On June 22nd, we had prophylaxis and personalized prophylaxis. We had Maria Elia Mancuso from Italy. Then we had the General Assembly of the Association. As you can see, maybe a bit more, 15th General Assembly. Interestingly, 75 different names have done work on the board, 22 medical, the rest are family members. 51 different names were in the auditing board, 20 medical, 31 hereditary bleeding disturbance patients. Thank you for the contributions. One last is the one we had on July 6th, hereditary bleeding disturbances and COVID-19. Marcus was a speaker. The rate in Turkey back then, 6.5% of Turkey population. Among hemophiliacs, it's 6.17%. So not that much really, but under the mist, books have been written under the fog, 2 of them ready for publication. And it's on the stand of the association. One is COVID-19 analyses. We edited this with 2 other professors. We made a book of those speeches. The other one is just hemophilia A speeches. We made them into a book. Okay, I will finish with this much, but we still have ongoing missions, people who have not yet been diagnosed, reaching all of those, reaching those who have no access to treatment, monitoring diagnosis centers, updating them, updating the devices, and being able to help out neighborly countries who are in need of our help. And we want to keep this sharing, this wish, and these activities alive. Our colleagues from Adana have a surprise. They're going to have a draw. Topcon will help out. They have a great product. So I have announced that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Professor ZÜLFİKAR. Well, and thank you for sharing this great journey during 2 years, 2020 and 2021. As I say, you are a valuable human resource in the hemophilia world.
Değerli bir kaynaksınız hemofilya dünyasında. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz size ve uzmanlığınız için de çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Şimdi birkaç soru paylaşmak istiyorsanız chatte buyurun. 2 sunumdan sonra bir soru cevap bölümü olabilecek. Şimdi Sayın Doktor Kaan KAVAKLI'yi davet etmek istiyorum. Başkan Yardımcısı Tasemi Derneği'nin 94 yılında Dünya Türk Derneği'nde 1984-85 arası askerliğini yaptı. Hemostas Kongresi'nde üyeliği vardır. Uluslararası Hematoloji Kongresi, Avrupa Hematoloji Kongresi, Türkiye Hematoloji Kongresi'nde kuruculardan biridir. Sayın Doktor Kaan KAVAKLI, buyurun, söz sizin. A Spanish greeting for the president. Hopefully he's heard it. Now, Professor Bülent talked about what has been done for the past 2 years, the online activities. Of course, my duty is our perspective on the future starting from today. We had the 2 years like that, but how will the future years be? The mists are disseminating, as you can see, half masked, half unmasked. That's our audiences. Oh, it's free to wear masks, no problem. But it's not compulsory based on Cypriot regulations because we're all negative here. Yes. Okay. Let's skip that. I will proceed from now on. Okay. Here's my presentation plan. It's not possible to share everything, and I don't want to bore you because you're here for 3 days anyway in different halls and different meetings. You'll hear similar things. We have understood that the corona pandemic that is experienced once every century, we're about to, I guess, overcome it, hopefully by next spring. On the one hand, we see we're in a good place as far as hemophilia care is concerned in Turkey. In the world, more than 5,000 hemophilia patients are reimbursed. Turkey is one of these 10 countries. 10% is what poor countries consume of these factors, but our hemophilia patients are among those countries which can consume the factors. New factors will come into play. I want to look into the future. New products, gene therapy, when will be covered by those? Clinical medication research. And there are many of those in Turkey, especially in hemophilia. We'll be able to extend our hands to new worlds soon. Okay. patients, family members, everybody's here. So therefore, I'm going to have a general speech, and that's the topic of my conversation. How shall we view the future once the mist is lifted? Long-acting factors. I hope we're going to be meeting them. Long-acting factor 8 and 9, and those factors with extended half-lives are also coming in, but I like saying extended life factors. The Ministry of Health, these long-acting factors 8 and 9 are about to be licensed. Soon they will be serving hemophilia patients in Turkey, it seems. Of course, these long-acting medications have been used successfully in the West by hemophilia patients for the past 5 years. We too, especially in 10-15 centers in Turkey, we have been using those LA F8s and F9s on a total of 50 patients. And really, we are confident that these will be highly beneficial for our patients, even though they can be used through IV. The fact that the frequency of use is reduced, or we call the trough factor level, because it raises them because of extended lives. This will be advantageous for patients, but LAF9 models will be more groundbreaking. I think this will be after next year, it seems. This is what has been talked about in the past 2 years, subcutaneous medication. For all ages and risk groups, it has been licensed by the ministry 2 years ago, and the reimbursing agency, we're waiting for them to start reimbursing those. Hopefully before the end of this year, in inhibitor patients of all ages, whether they be pediatric or adult, and in non-inhibitor children below 12 years of age who have IV problems. Hopefully, we hope SGK will be reimbursing them before the end of the year. And the subcutaneous medication has been in use, has been tested in some centers in Turkey. It has been very successful. From past to the future, this is how I'd like to transition. Haven 2 study. Many of you have kept up with it. Pediatric inhibitor, pediatric children. 8 children from our country participated. Actually in Istanbul, Adana, took 3 years. We have seen it's a very successful medication. This year, Haven 7. For babies below 1 year of age, a new study has gotten underway. Babies below 1 year of age. The research is about how efficacious and secure it will be on such children. Even though it's been licensed, Canan Albayrak from Samsun, I would like to congratulate with quite a high number of patients. They are the only center in the world with so many patients. It's been 3-4 months. It's going very successfully, but the results of it will be talking next year. Now let's come to other subcutaneous products. We see the clinical research professors who are interested in hemophilia. 3-5 years later, at least half of the medications consumed will be subcutaneous. I'm talking about a perspective on the future. Globally, there are 6 different subcutaneous products. 5 of these are available in our country. Phase 2, phase 3 clinical studies have been ongoing. Many centers, different centers around Turkey are using those medications. I will be summarizing shortly. What I'm saying is the future 5 years, when we have a hemophilia congress 5 years from today, the subcutaneous medication will be used by more than half of the patients. Factor 8, of course. Its importance will never go away. It will continue to be the star of the show because we know that the factor 8 is missing in our hemophiliac patients. Our need for factor 8 will never be eliminated. 50-50, probably 3 to 5 years later, but subcutaneous medications, they will be accounting for 50% of the medication. Many Turkish hemophiliac patients are using those medications. We have professors experienced. They're keeping up on them. Fitusuran, for instance. 50 patients in Turkey are using this in different research, hemophilia A and B, and inhibitor patients are using these in the future as well. It will be used by those patients. It seems concizumab molecule by Novo Nordisk once a day, but it's used by a syringe, easily injected. HbA inhibitors will benefit. It seems MIM8, Novo Nordisk again, mimics Roche's molecule, further develops on it. In HA inhibitor patients, it will have a part to play. Marstezimab, Pfizer medication, again, close to 30 patients are using it in our country, quite high. It started soon. Hemophilia A and B inhibitors. Again, a different medication, recombinant 7A. As you can see, 5 of the 6 medications around the world are being used in centers in Turkey for clinical research. In the area of hemophilia, Turkey is really the place where clinical research of all the future medications is being done. This is a great possibility for Turkey. As such, many of the patients participating in the research are already experiencing the future. There's one medication, which is activated PC inhibitor, not started in Turkey yet, but it's continuing outside of Turkey, gene therapies. In the future, of course, 5, 10, 15 years later, these will be applied routinely in Turkey, but it is promising. So it will be permanent cure for our patients. So phase 3 clinical research is big advantage for the patients because research in this area has been ongoing for quite a while, for 20 years, but 10 years ago, gene therapy has been applied on a human. Of course, the professor Amit Natvani, we had listened to him, and 1 year later, we had invited him to the Hemophilia Congress, and he had said, I never forget, in 2011, Hemophilia B phase 1 started. 10 years later, he said, in the area of hemophilia, it will be on the market, he had said. For me, it had sounded so late. How can it be delayed for 10 years? But it's 2021. In 2022, it will be approved by FDA, it seems. For hemophilia A, they started in 2019, but then it almost caught up with B, BioMarin company, and FDA approval for these types of medications, seeing gene therapy as a medication because it gives you a chance to heal for life, but it will cost millions of dollars once it's on the market, of course. And this medication being approved in FDA, it will be around 2022 spring months, but it can be delayed. In 2011, back then, 10 years ago, in the area of hemophilia, it's a very busy center in Aegean University Pediatric Hospital. We had the phase 1 unit by special permit from the ministry. It was quite a cumbersome project, really. We got the approval. We've been having phase 1 for 10 years, but our dream was to do gene therapy back then because we couldn't. But by the time we came to phase 3, 10 years later, we could. In hemophilia B, at the end of 2019, 4 hemophilia B patients have been applied phase 3, Spark Pfizer 1002 study, phase 3. 4 patients benefited from gene therapy. 3 of those very successfully about to complete their second years, 20-30% of factor 9 level, and they have not used any other factors. 1 patient went back to prophylaxis only. As you can see, Adana, Gaziantep, Istanbul, and Aegean adult group are working as centers, and subsequently, they will be doing gene therapy for more patients. For hemophilia A, the first screenings last summer months, last year. This year, we had the chance to do it. Sangamo Pfizer phase 3 research applied on 8 patients during the summer months, and it's almost the first 3 months, average factor 8 levels around 100%, and factor 8 There are those who reached 200%. There are those who remained in 20%, but it's so recent. It's just been 3 months. And a very high dosage is given in hemophilia A because in hemophilia B, there's another mutation, 8-fold more stronger, but hemophilia A, 50% of the patients are in a position to use cortisones, they're saying. So 3 of our patients are using cortisone treatment problem-free. Adana, Gaziantep, Istanbul, and Aegean adult centers will be able to increase their patients in the future. Now, to make time for your questions and to make a perspective for the future and what are we doing in Turkey. It's nice to see to watch what other people are doing, but if we're involved with our patients and our experienced professors, experienced hospitals and nurses, we have 6, 7 of those colleagues who are field advisors in hemophilia research. They're all very important. Of course, it's no easy job coming to these days. We've been working for a long time. And just like Turkish Airlines is a very good reference for hemophilia as well, as Professor Bülent has said, our foreign colleagues, when we talk to them in care of hemophilia, you have experienced professors. I'm not saying it for myself and Professor Bülent only. Many experienced professors have been trained in the past 10 years. Therefore, hemophilia care in Turkey, and because they have clinical research as well, we can have a sense of safety for the future. Clinical research will end, the medications will come on the market. God knows how many years it will take for those medications to be reimbursed. We'll discuss those later, but at least a hemophilia that is a lifelong disease without feeling the need to have a lifelong IV or subcutaneous medication, being able to have one injection and get cured, I think is a very important topic. So therefore, in the coming years as well, gene therapy in Turkey, the numbers of such projects will increase. Many patients will be receiving care in many centers under the monitoring of experienced professors. I'm sure many patients will benefit from these. Good evening. Thank you very much, dear Kaan. Mr. Garrido, Professor ZÜLFİKAR, and you, I would like to thank all of you. This is why hemophilia has come in our country. You have summarized this very well, and the future seems bright because future means clinical research, including gene therapy. Clinical research is now being conducted in many centers in our country. So this shows where we have arrived as far as hemophilia is concerned. Are there any questions from the hall? If you could take those, and if Mr. Garrido allows. Any questions from the hall? Yes, there is. You could use the microphone so that it could be listened on screen, right? Yes. We're going to be hearing yes. If anybody would like to ask a question, please raise your hand and you will have asked the first question of the Congress, which is a big thing. Is there an award for the first question? I was expecting it from Barış, but is there an award for the first question? If there is, I will ask it later then. I wish a good Congress. Professor Kaan, gene therapy, side effect. Did you have side effects in gene therapy? And what are those? Our patients are curious about this. You said cortisone just now, some of the patients, hemophilia B patients. Any other side effects or why cortisone was necessary? Can you explain very briefly? Of course, every clinical medication research, and even in daily use, there are some side effects. Even a small aspirin, as you can see, may cause bleeding in healthy patients, and in hemophilia patients, many medications cannot be used, and gene therapy has not yet been approved by FDA. It's experimental drug currently, but for 10, 20 years, lab animal models and human models in recent years, they have come to the last stage. As side effect, liver-related side effects. We're focusing on those, but we see that the liver tolerates this very well in both A and B. In our patients, liver function tests twice a week for the first 3 months together with the centers in the USA. We have been talking. No problem for the liver so far. In the USA, there's been a research, hemophilia B. There was a tumor that developed in the liver, they had said, hemophilia B adult model. In subsequent studies, it was shown that this tumor had been because of the hepatitis C in the blood of the patients. It had been there for 25 years. Is it adenovirus and liver tumor confused? Because theoretically, there's a risk to have a problem in the liver, but up until recent years, the research has shown that apart from this last patient, no tumor developed in the liver in any of the patients. And in that patient, we've been keeping up on the latest results. ISTH Congress, I think it was there. We listened to their results. Hepatitis C-related liver tumor had developed. Apart from that, you said cortisone. It's material injected into the body externally, these proteins. So our immune system runs the risk of reacting to those. We call fluid immunity. We prevent it with adenovirus screening, but half of the patients get eliminated. Adenovirus positive ones cannot take gene therapy. Antibody negatives are included, so there's no significant reaction in their case. But after 2 or 3 months, T lymphocyte, one of the important agents of the immunity system, they run the risk of being activated in those patients. We've been following up on that. Our patients are aware of that. So when T lymphocyte activity is present, the problem is if we miss out on that, if we don't use cortisone on the patient for a short period of time, then the externally injected gene product may become ineffective. So it's going very well with patients that are receiving cortisone. There may be cortisone-related side effects, but cortisone is something we use frequently in our daily lives. Children, babies, weight gain, high glucose, etc. Our patients, we prevent these with diet, but there may be some cortisone-related side effects, but cortisone is used even in the simplest of diseases by the majority of our patients. It's not an extreme medication, I can say that. A significant side effect so far is absent, but there's no medication without a side effect. Even the factors that we use, some develop inhibitors, some cause other problems. Even the medications we routinely use right now may develop antibodies in the future, more in babies, less in adults. But as I said, follow-up has been continuing for 20 years, especially in patients in Turkey. No significant problem has arisen. But a patient abroad, I said, had liver tumor, but that was hepatitis C related. So the adenovirus related significant event does not exist so far in hemophilia patients. Thank you. Mr. Garrido would like to say something.
No,
Hayır. Bir sorum var aslında. Doktor Zülfikar ve Doktor KAVAKLI için. Doktor Zülfikar, siz Türkiye Derneği'nin başkanısınız. Tebrik etmek istiyorum sizi. Çünkü Türkiye'den bahsettiğiniz zaman hemofililer ülkenizdeki çok mutlu olsa gerek. Çok şanslı bir nüfus bunlar çünkü birçok tedaviye erişimleri var. Başka insanların olmadığı. Evet. Emin değilim. Ülke olarak başka komşu ülkelerden göç alıyor musunuz? Benzer tedavi, tıbba erişim olarak. Eğer göç gelmiyorsa sizce Türk Derneği'nin girişimi ne olabilir bu konuda ki bu büyük zorluk. Yani hiç başka tedavi alamayan insanlara nasıl erişeceksiniz? Yani çok sayıda insandan bahsediyoruz burada. Muhtemelen nüfusun %60'ı da hemofili oluyor bu nüfusta. Ne tip bir girişiminiz var bu konu hakkında? Göçmenlerin tedaviye erişimi konusunda. There's a lot of echo, but as far as I could understand, the ratio of patients diagnosed in Turkey is around 60%, it has been said. Also, there is, with the work that has been going on in the association, what developments did I understand right, Professor Muzaffer? Yes. Now, thank you very much, Mr. President, for your question. In Turkey, in the area of hemophilia, it's almost 30 years you've been working. We established the association in 1992, but working closely with hemophilia back then. But in those 30 years, Turkey has made great progress. We have 2015 data most recently, together with the Ministry of Health. We're continuing to meet with the ministry. Hopefully next year, new data will be collected about this. Currently, it's not possible to buy medication without being registered. So all of our patients are registered in the Ministry of Health and in the reimbursing agency. So they buy their medication based on that. The ratio of patients who cannot reach medication in our country currently is not zero, but it's not more than 1%, I may say. And they either have not done what they have to do process-wise, or they don't know where to go. That must be the only reason. Otherwise, all over the country, the product is distributed and hemophilia patients can find an organization to procure the medication from. So in our country, apart from mild hemophiliacs, I don't think there are any cases whom we have not reached and diagnosed, but we know that many patients who go to European countries from here, in France and UK and in Germany, we have hemophilia patients currently living there. So we know that in our country, it's not 60% as is talked about. It's a lot more than that have been registered as patients, and they can have access to all sorts of products. I think this is enough.
Yeah. Well,
Evet. Öbür soru şu. Doktor Kavaklı'ya soruyorum. Ne düşünüyorsunuz? Jenerik ürünler konusunda. Bu her gün gittikçe daha kuvvetleniyor pazarda. Jenerik ürünler. İnovasyona uğramış ürünler mi, jenerik mi? Sizce yani jenerik ürünler konusunda ne düşünüyorsunuz Sayın Kavaklı? This has to do with the marketing of the gene therapies. You're asking how that will proceed. Of course, medication being approved by FDA does not mean it will be available to the entire humanity. And the president, during his presentation, for 30 years, factors being used in Western countries. Poor countries cannot even use them. We say gene therapy is going to be on the market, but there are many countries who can't even use the regular factor 8. Factor 8 is only 10% consumed by poor countries. World Hemophilia Association has many aid interventions, Close the Gap project that they're trying to help out with. But gene products should be on the market, and it could be important for other patients to be more hopeful. I have the chance to be permanently cured. It is out in the US now. I should not be missing out on my prophylaxis, so I can use those when they come to Turkey a couple of years later. They are important for motivating the adherence of patients in poorer countries. Even though they are expensive, it's important to have them approved. Maybe patients in Turkey will not be able to use those for 5 years, but 5 years later, when it's reimbursed by the reimbursing agency, it is a hope for them and their families. That's why they're important. Otherwise, you're right. 90% of the factor is used by wealthy countries. May I say something? Of course, the increase of options is very important. As options increase, the likelihood of access will be higher. And among the options, those who ensure significant success are important, or other treatment facilitators are important. But whatever we have currently available, it's important for them to continue as well. Well, with competition, prices will be reduced then. Thank you very much. In fact, different mechanisms, but biopsychosexual course disease. So we have the molecules to change the course, right? The number of genetic products is increasing. Long-acting ones are there. There's once a month use. Bioengineering products are here. The alternatives increasing will help reduce the costs as well, right, Professor? As you said, one, alternatives are increasing. Second, hope. So the mist will be lifted quickly, it seems. We don't have much time really, but with your permission, may I ask Mr. Garrido to say something on behalf of the World Hemophilia Association? His conclusion, his last remarks, please. Garrido, bir mesajınız var mı? Son birkaç şey var mı söyleyecek izleyicilerimize ve dernek üyelerimize? Teşekkürler Doktor Ahmet Muzaffer Demir. Sanıyorum iyimser olabiliriz. Çünkü uçurum çok geniş de olsa çok uzmanlarımız var. Sizler gibi insanlar var. Profesör KAVAKLI, Profesör ZÜLFİKAR var. Onlar işte bu dünyanın bu işteki gönüllüleri, yani insan kaynakları, o yüzden çok önemli bu mücadelede. Benim için, benim endişem, şunu rica etmek istiyorum. Benimle birlikte çalışın lütfen. Nüfusun geri kalanıyla ilgili bir şey yapmamız lazım. Onlar tedaviye erişimi yok. Sizden rica etmek istiyorum. Bu zorluğu nasıl aşabiliriz? Belki kısa sürede çözülemez ama en azından onlara da bir şey verebilmemiz lazım. Mesajım bu sizlere. Unutmayalım. Hiçbir şey olmayan, hiçbir tedavi alamayan insanlar var. Unutmayalım. Yani işin bu hususunu da unutmamamız lazım. Peki, teşekkür ederim. Çok genç hematologlar var. Hemofiliye ve diğer kan hastalıklarına ilgi duyuyorlar. Dünya Hemophilia Derneği de üyelikleri de var. Sanıyorum gençlerimiz bütün topluma hitap edebilecekler bu konuda ve bu şekilde birbirimize yardımcı olarak en iyi günlere gelebileceğiz hemofili konusunda. Konuşmacılarımıza sormak istiyorum. Aynı zamanda kongremizin başkanları da kendileri. Son bir mesajınız, birkaç cümleniz var mıydı? İzleyicilerimizin Doktor Kavaklı, Doktor ZÜLFİKAR. Here's what I would like to say. While preparing this Congress, while coming up with a program, the publications that came out of our country and the colleagues, we extracted all of their data, including posters that went to congresses, and those who are going to be talking in the Congress, they're all going to be talking about these data. So we want our colleagues to contribute significantly to this area so that in the future Congresses, we may share their new work and projects. Doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, or family members, I looked at the list from Edirne to Van, from Samsun to Adana, from Izmir to Trabzon, from Istanbul to Ankara, from Denizli to Kayseri, and we may increase those. Lots of hemophilia-related nurses, doctors, physiotherapists are all together in this Congress, and more than half of those are here face-to-face, some online. Bringing all these together means several years later, the care and the quality of the treatment given to hemophiliac patients will be higher than ever. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Follow the sessions very carefully. Thank you. GARRIDO, çok teşekkür ederim size derneğimiz adına. Büyük bir onurdu burada olmanız, bu sanal kongremizde olmanız. Umarım birbirimizle şahsen bir araya geliriz bir sonraki kongrede. Kapatalım mı oturumumuzu? Ne düşünüyorsunuz? Teşekkürler. Söz veriyorum. Sizinle olacağım bir sonraki kongrede. Umuyorum. Umuyorum çünkü bilmiyorum ne olacak COVID-19 konusunda ama çok teşekkür ederim bu davet için. En iyi dileklerimle teşekkürler.